Hello, everybody. Okay, we're a little bit early. 2 minutes, 2 minutes. But I'm doing my sound check, make sure that everything works okay. So, we've got 7 people in the house already. Wow, up and early, ready to watch. Thank you very much. So, is everything working okay? I'll just test me printer. See, that's not printer. Comments. Hello. Yeah. Hello. Hello all. Good day, retired living with the dream. Hello. 2:58 p.m. Hello, Les. How are you, mate? Okay, thanks, Bill. Always a pleasure, mate. You're always on there. Farang Travels. Hello, Bill Simpson. Sound is good. Okay, fantastic. So we're rocking and rolling, and we're going again. So my coffee. I always have my coffee. Retired and living the dream. Slightly different view today. Normally we're looking in that direction, but now we just change the view. A little bit of a change in. Which do you prefer? Which view do you prefer? The background view with the house over the road, or this? Because this is where I have my coffee on the morning. 6 o'clock this morning, I was up watching the sunrise. Beautiful. And we have 2 hammocks, one there and then one at the other wall. So my wife lays on this one and I'm usually on the other one. So this is our outside living area. We have a settee there, which is lovely. Small table and chairs, and the hammock, which is there. So yesterday I cut all the hedge and cut all the grass. So I go, well, the car goes by. So normal life here, as you would do back in the UK or wherever you live. You know, you still have to do the normal mundane household things, washing the pots, washing the car, stuff like that. So yeah, although I live in a beautiful location, there's still things to do, isn't there? I see the craziness in the UK continues. No, you can be arrested for saying I love bacon. Yeah, I've seen that guy getting arrested. I love bacon. Well, I do love bacon. And I must admit, I put a few comments on some of the information that I've been putting on saying the Thought Police might be coming to knock on my door. But I'm sure a couple of Thought Police would love to come across to Thailand, knock on my door, and maybe stay for a while and just forget about it. Again, it's crazy, isn't it? You know, I've seen all the riots that are going on. It is going to be a summer of discontent, I think. And the fact that he's actually challenging the hotel thing now, wow, if that gets overturned, I think that'll create a lot of ill effect and ill harmony, and maybe he's going to get Lucy Collins as judge to overrule it. It's crazy, isn't it? Put him in tents, put him in the army barracks, detention. You know, I could talk all day about this. I've got strong views about it. You know, especially when other people, British subjects, are coming second. Oh, that's my view anyway, and the view of many, many, many others on here. Hello from Simon from Udentani. Hello, Udentani. Is it raining up there or is it okay? Oh, it's a little bit overcast today. We had a bit of rain yesterday, but considering it's rainy season, I don't think we've had a lot of rain this year. Up at the wife's farm, they had a really good downpour for a couple of days, which was perfect. It was what they want. So all the rice fields are full now. So again, I don't think the rainy season is as bad as it has been. So, I mean, what's your thoughts on that? So, what we're going to talk, we've got loads of things to talk about today. But again, this is your chance. This is your chance to ask any questions that you want. What I suggest you do, if you want to ask a question, put it in the comment section and put a capital Q, and then I can see as I'm watching the chat roll by. If I see a capital Q, then I can see that it's a question, and I'll answer it if I can. But I apologize if I miss your question, because sometimes my answers are a little bit long-winded and it'll take a while for me to answer, and your question might scroll up. So I'm not ignoring it. I will answer any and every question that comes along my way, and but sometimes I may miss it, so I apologize for that. Restoration archive, time for time for the show. Okay. It's sunny at the moment, but had rain yesterday. Oh, well, okay. I mean, they reckon September is the worst month. You know, we'll get a lot of rain and thunder and lightning then. But I don't mind a bit of rain. As I say, it rained 2 or 3 days ago, a really, really good downpour. So it's watered the grass and it makes everything grow. I mean, that hedge, well, you can see the hedge behind me, that's up for a cut. That's going to take at least 2 hours to cut that because I have to cut all the way alongside, get up my steps, cut the top, then go over the other side of the fence, and it's another metre deeper because the ground below there is a metre deeper than, yeah, it's a 2-hour job. So I'm waiting for a cloudy day and then I'll do it. It was overcast yesterday when I did that and cut the grass, and I cut the grass out the front. So yeah, I mean, normal. I could get a gardener here and pay him 500 baht a day, and maybe employ him twice a month to come round and just cut the hedges and cut the grass and things like that. But I'm still active. I'm only 65-year-old and I still want to do things myself. So eventually, one day, I'll get there. I mean, let's face it, you know, just over a tenner a day to get a gardener. How much would you have to pay to get a gardener just to cut your grass in the UK? I would imagine it'd be about 40 or 50 quid now a day, at least. Maybe it's 100 quid a day. Good morning, Les from Barnsley. 11 weeks ago, your videos always cheer me up. I enjoyed the coffee shop things. I will enjoy doing soon. Marvellous. 11 weeks, that'll soon pass, won't it? So good luck for you and best wishes for your future retirement plans, and hopefully everything goes well. There's some beautiful coffee shops around here. There really is. We're having a power cut at the moment, but our generator saved the day. Oh. You need a work permit. Not when you're doing your own house and not when you're married. Apparently, them are the two stipulate. If you're married and you've got your house to maintain, you don't need a work permit. But then again, it's going to be a sad day, isn't it? If a policeman, he must be low on his crime detection figures if he's going to come round and get a foreigner who's cutting his grass or who's cutting his hedge, and you know, to tick all these boxes of crime prevention. We live in a village. We have a policeman just around the corner. He waves his hand as he drives past, and he's okay. Again, I agree with the people that are working that they should be caught, and you know, no work permit and things like that. And there's a friend of mine in Patty who got caught twice. Both times he had to pay 20,000 baht fine. One for taking a telephone call for renting a room out. We had a guest house in Soi Buakhao. You got 20,000 baht fine for doing that, and 4 or 5 weeks later, you got another 20,000 baht fine for putting the A board outside with the room rates. So yeah, if they're determined to get you, they'll get you, won't they? But anyway, let's see what happens. Hi, Les, good to see you back on the YouTube. Best wishes from here in Lam Luk Kar, North Bangkok. Oh, thank you very much for that, Andrew. Thank you. Good morning from Norway. I'm going to apply for a 1-year visa when I get confirmation of the income, or is it easiest to deposit 400,000 baht in an account? Is it a gift with Thai? The 400,000 baht is if you're married. So that's for a marriage visa, but on a retirement visa, you need 800,000 baht. I'm going to come on to visas in a little minute because, again, a lot of things have happened with regard to visas over here in Thailand over the past week or 2 weeks, and tax, you know, different types of visas. There's been 10,000 visas revoked, or temporary visas revoked this last week or so. So we're going to come on to that anyway. But yeah, we'll mention the visas. And I've got a little way of saving yourself some money. Now, people are always interested in saving money, aren't they? Including me. But there's a little way. I mean, it's not hard to think, but I've got a knack of sort of thinking outside of the box and and sorting problems out, such as what I don't want to talk about it too much because somebody complained last week that I talked too much about the frozen pensions. But again, that's ongoing. I've done a couple of videos about that, but there's always a solution. There's always a way. And, sometimes people don't want you to look in that direction when it's a feasible way of doing it. And again, I've got a legal way of getting around using an agent for your visa. You don't need 800,000 baht in the bank if you're going to go on a retirement visa. So there's ways and means of doing it, and I'll come on to that a little bit later on in the program as well. But again, I wouldn't suggest anybody to do anything illegal over here in Thailand. There are legal ways of doing it and getting around the system, and there's a way of doing it, and it's 100% legal. Right, so anyway, let's get started then with the visas. What's happening this week? With the government have just what's the word for it? They've just scrapped 10,000 visas, education visas, and these are the education visas for learning Thai, Muay Thai boxing, cookery courses, and things like that. So they've actually done away with them or suspended them, and because it's sort of been an obvious way of people getting around the system and staying in Thailand a year on a bit of a bogus visa. But it happens worldwide. It happens the same in the UK. The thing is with the UK, if you come in on an education visa and you're learning English, you can bring your mum, your dad, your uncle, your nephews, your nieces, and everybody and his dog, because you're learning to learn English in the UK and you don't even attend the university or the school. It's very, very different here in Thailand. You get the visa and it's just for you, nobody else. But again, same thing, amount of people don't go to the education school, and every time they go out and come back in, they risk being stopped by the immigration officer, and they will ask them several questions in Thai. And if you can't understand Thai, you're sort of dead in the water. Then they'll revoke your visa, and they've done that with 10,000 visas this last week or so. All the Russian ladies that I met all were on education visa. Well, exactly. What else would they be doing? They need to learn the lingo, don't they? I'll come on to the Ruskies, what they're doing over here as well, because it's them that's causing some of the problems. So anyway, the education visas have been sort of scrapped. Getting a visa now, the visa agents, everybody's aware now that the banks are closing all the accounts and things like that, because if it looks dodgy. And let's face it, although you can use an agent to get your bank account opened and your visa, it looks a little bit suspicious, doesn't it, when 800,000 or 900,000 baht goes into your account, then less than 30 minutes later it comes back out again. These are the things that they're picking up on, and it's the Bangkok Bank that's sort of spearheaded this. They're actually looking into it more thoroughly than the other banks, but as sure as night follows day, the other banks will follow suit one day as well. I've got a bit of a dry throat, so that's me. Coke Zero. So yeah, again, these things are happening. They're happening for a reason. The Ruskies are doing a lot of washing of the laundry of the money, as are the Chinese. So when all's said and done, we are collateral damage. The people who are suffering, the genuine people who are suffering with regard to the banks being closed, or they're closing it temporarily whilst they get the information off you that they want. And because of the amount of washing that the Russians and the Chinese have been doing, we all paying the price for that. So this is what's happening. And you can't blame Thailand for doing it. Perhaps if the UK were a little bit more critical over this type of thing, then the UK wouldn't be in the mess that it's in. So I believe it's going to be maybe going on for another year or so, then everything will sort of die back down, and it'll be back to normal again in a year or so's time. Jackson in Thailand, question, highlights. Have you heard about problems with bank accounts? Bangkok Bank has frozen my account. They want me to go to Pattaya where I opened the bank account. Yes. In fact, I was just talking about that. It's not a big problem, as I say, as long as you're getting your money from overseas. It's basically they want to match you up, facial recognition. They'll take a photograph of you, make sure it's the same telephone number. They're just crossing all the T's and dotting the I's. And yeah, it'll be no problem. You're on a retirement visa. Just take your tenancy agreement with you as well, and that shows that you've signed a 1-year contract. As much information as you can to the bank when you go next week, and then you'll have no problems whatsoever. Again, I've had no problem with my bank account. It's not been frozen. I opened my bank account in Pattaya. In fact, an agent did it for me, well, maybe 10 years or so ago now. So I've had no problem. And when I went down and got the app for the phone, then it was because I used to do my transactions on the iPad, but because it didn't have a dedicated SIM card, it eventually froze and it wouldn't do the transactions on the iPad. So when I took my phone, they matched everything up with the phone. So fingers crossed, I think that was all that they did with me. So Jackson, I don't think you'll have any much of a problem. Just go down there. Don't forget to take your tenancy agreement. That shows to them that you're going to live there for a year or so. My bank account was locked for a few days. Yeah, again, as I said, this is one of the things, and this is why I brought it up. Many people are having that at the minute. Bangkok Bank is the most strictest at present, but it's going to go to Kasikorn, SCB Bank. So, again, just expect it. And when it does, just go down to the bank. There's nothing to be worried about. They just want to know a little bit more information. And as long as you've got your retirement visa, you'll have that anyway. It'll be stamped in your book. Proof of address where you're living. It's just a little bit of an inconvenience, but again, you can't blame Thailand for trying to sort their own mess out. You know, Thailand at the minute have shot themselves in the foot so many times, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on today. But at the minute, everything in the garden isn't rosy at Thailand at the minute. There's a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of upheaval, and there's a lot of discontent. And you know, this isn't the magic formula, is it, to get tourists to come here? So again, it's a temporary blip in my mind, the visas and the banking situation. So fingers crossed, you know, do what you need to go and do, and then retire for the rest of your life here, which is good. A lot of people are going to have their retirement marriage visas cancelled soon if they use the agent deposit money in it now. I don't think so, Farang Travels. People have been saying this about agents for many, as long as I've been here for 13 years. All the agents have had the day that there'll be no more agents tomorrow. Just on Facebook today, there was a visa agent advertised on Facebook, and it's 37,000 baht to get your visa application. Now, again, I send people to a guy in Pattaya. I get no kickback from it. I don't get nothing from it. It's just the fact that I send people to this guy because I know he's reliable and he can speak good English, and he'll let you know what's going on, and he's reasonably priced as well. But this other guy that was advertising on Facebook, so I mean, agents advertising on Facebook, you know, sort of how blatant can you be? 37,000, then that's for a 15-month visa for those people who were starting to get a brand new visa. And then for every year after that, it's 14,000 baht to renew it. But it's an old way. I've been singing this hymn for a long time now, and I'm going to explain how you can do it in a minute. So you don't have to use the agent you just need to use the agent from the first year. Then after that, it's just 1,900 baht for a normal visa. therefore saving yourself 12,000 baht. And it's a more legal way of doing it than using an agent, and it's easy, and it's not difficult to do, and it's 100% legit and 100% legal. But we'll come on to that in a minute. I've ruled out Pattaya and Jomtien for a retirement spot, just not for me. What I'm looking for, I have 1 week and I'm going back to the States to get my retirement in order. Back to Thailand in May. Oh yeah, well, Jomtien, I didn't mind Jomtien, but even Jomtien is changing in comparison to when I used to live there. Pattaya, it's a mad place anyway, isn't it? And if you live in Pattaya too long, it just gets underneath your skin. And if you're going out for a couple of beers with friends, you just get sick of the, hi, sexy man, lovely man, and all the girls trying to grab you into the bar, and the incessant buy me a drink, buy me a drink, buy me a drink. And the new rules that are coming in, where there's some bars where if you start talking to a girl, it's a minimum of 3 drinks you've got to buy the girls. So everything's changing in Pattaya. It's not like it used to be when I used to come here many, many years ago. And I think to all the guys that old school that have lived here many years, it has changed dramatically. And it's not cheap anymore. It's not cheap at all. And there's lots of complaints about Little India and Little Moscow. I mean, Walking Street now has got 4 massive Indian nightclubs. So I've been told on another video. I mean, Indian nightclubs in Walking Street. Wow, it's just unheard of, isn't it? Visionary Travels, Pattaya is a great place to visit, but agree, not the place to live. Yeah. If you've got the 800,000, you have no reason to waste any money at an agent. Exactly, 100% agree with that. That's what they want to see. That's what they want to put the 800,000 in. Then they're happy, because then it's in the Thai banking system. Pattaya is a great place to empty your dirty water, so to speak. I've heard it called many things, but yeah, that's a new one. So anyway, okay, getting back onto this visa thing. Now again, a number of years ago, there was let's go for the retirement visa, because that's the sort of easiest visa to get, retirement visa. If you've got the 800,000 baht, then you've got no problems whatsoever. It's easy peasy. You can be in and out in less than 30 minutes. But let's say that you use an agent for the first year because you haven't got the 800,000 baht. So that gets you 15 months. So 12 months of it is the retirement visa. So you pay 37,000 baht for that. It ranges from 35 up to 60,000 baht for the same visa, depending which visa agent you go to. So you've got a visa for 15 months. Okay. So now let's go and look at the income method of it. Rather than putting rather than them putting the 800,000 baht and charging you 14,000 baht a year, you need some money to live on in the first place. So you've got to put some money into a bank account every month anyway. So as long as you're putting 65,000 baht a month every month into your Thai bank account, there's your income method, because that's all you need to show is 12 months at 65,000 baht a month going in. Then the following year, you go and apply for your visa yourself, your retirement visa yourself on the income method, which is 65,000 baht a month. Easy peasy. It's really, really, really good, and it's easy to do. And for those people who don't have 65,000 baht a month, let's say that you only live on 50,000 baht a month, then it's what's called the recycle method. So then you put 65,000 baht a month to please the immigration, because that's what I want to see. And then every maybe 3 or 4 months, you send any excess or what money that you had savings to bring it up to the 65,000, send it back to your home country. And I call that the recycle method. And there's lots of people do that as well. Is it illegal or illegal? No, it isn't. It's up to you what you do with your money, isn't it? But you're satisfying the immigration by having the 65,000 baht every month coming into your bank account. It's up to you how you spend your money. Is it any more illegal than the agent putting 800,000 baht in your account for 3 to 30 minutes? Much more legal and much more satisfying to the immigration department, I would suggest. Now, before, there used to be a problem sending your money back home to the UK if you use the recycle method. But there used to be a company called D-Money that used to send the money back to the UK. But there was a little bit of controversy with that, and for a little while they stopped doing it. But D-Money are back in the game now. D-Money, and there's another company called Revolt, Revolut. Hang on, I'll write that down. And this is it's a system like Wise. Hang on, wait till I get me. It's a system like Wise where you can send your Thai money through an app to the UK, America, Australia. I think they do 59 countries. Revolut. Have a look at these. Revolt. Right? And just as an instance, if you need to send 70,000 baht back to the UK, they would charge a fee of 965 baht to send that over to the UK, which is 23 quid roughly. Now, Wise, if you sent that amount of money, which is 1,591 from England over to Thailand, they charge you £10.53. So it's sort of double the charge to send it back to the UK as it is to send it from Wise over to in the first place. But Revolt also do that as well, send the money from the UK over to Thailand. It's cheaper than using a bank-to-bank transfer or using Western Union. So that's Revolt and then D-Money. Them are the two companies that you can actually send money back to your home country if you need to go along that stream. It's just a way of saving money and trying to avoid using the agents if possible. Let's have a look. New weather warning, storm over there. Oh, well, that'll be a long time before I get to you. Alan Brown, Les, I wish I could put 65k in my Thai bank account every month. Well, you only have to put it in to satisfy the immigration department that you've got 65,000 baht coming in. I mean, if you live on 40, if you've got a little bit of savings, you put the 20,000. Let's say 50 for ease of working out. So you're 15,000 baht short. So if you've got some savings, you put the 15,000 baht in every month to bring it up to 65. And then you send that 15,000 baht back to your home country and recycle that 15,000. Again, I said, we don't live on 60. We spend less than 65,000. So if I was on the retirement visa, all that money would be just stacking up in the bank. And I do realize there are some people who live on 30 to 40,000 baht every month. But that's just a way that satisfies the immigration department that you've got 65,000 coming into the bank. And to me, that's much more favorable in the immigration will like that because they see 65 every month. Whereas if you use an agent, 800 or 900,000 in your bank account for 3 to 30 minutes. And that's a little bit more, skeptical for the banks to look into it. Whereas if you've got 65 coming in every month, it's you're a lot more safer by using, in my opinion, that is. So there are many ways to skin a cat. And that's just one way around the system that is totally 100% legal. You've only got 13,000. Well, there is a bit of a difference, then, isn't it? There's lots of difference between 13 and 65. Yeah. Well, it looks like you'll just be using an agent then. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with agents. Agents are not going to go away. if anything, they're going to be a little bit more expensive, the agents. But the agent service, they wave their magic wand and everything happens smoothly, doesn't it? And some of the agents do the 90 days for you. Now, me, I wouldn't like to use the agent to do me 90 days, because if they make a mistake, it's you that's going to carry the can. It's you that'll end up paying the fee for late, 90-day reporting. Anyway, that's up to you. That's just one or two methods that I suggest that you can actually get away with not having to use an agent. Tax. Now let's talk about tax. Everybody likes tax. Again, I've watched a couple of videos over the past couple of days or so, and fingers crossed the tax situation is going to be resolved by January of next year. They brought in two different rules. Rule number 161, 162. And do you know something? What everybody's been saying is that because of these new tax rules, Thailand won't get as much tax as what they're expecting, because it's putting people off. And apparently, according to this tax expert yesterday, Thailand over the past 2 years has lost 20 billion baht. 20 billion baht. Because of the uncertainty with tax. So now they're going to bring in a rule, fingers crossed, and we have to wait until it goes in the Royal Gazette. As from January, we won't be asked to pay tax. So those expats are going to be safe. But also today there was another little mention about, as from 2027, every single person that resides in Thailand is going to have a tax ID number, and they're going to have to inform the tax company how much they get, revenue or wages or income, whatever. And that will also include foreigners. We might have to get a tax identification number, even if we don't have to pay tax, as long as we'll probably still need a tax identification number. But again, that's looking at 2027. Whether that happens or not, there was a lot of poo-poo in the idea today, saying it's another stupid idea, because I think 70% of the Thai people, if you're earning less than 150,000 baht, you don't have to pay tax anyway. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully the Royal Gazette will make that prediction, and it'll come out in the Royal Gazette before the end of this year. As from January, foreigners don't have to pay tax. It's worded a little bit differently, but that in a nutshell is where it's going to be. So that's that. Yeah, let's have a look. Here we go, another number stamped on the, yeah. Retired and working for you, Thailand, top tax advisor. He's not even Thai. Yeah, he's Italian, isn't he? Yeah, you must have watched the same thing with Chris, retired working for you. Yeah, it was a little bit confusing because he didn't talk about pensions and double tax agreements and things like that. So it was a little bit vague, I felt. But the nuts and the bolts of it is, come January next year, it's going to be, we won't have to pay tax. Isan man. Go to any small town in Isan and you will find Farangs not everywhere in a small town. Konkan and Udantani city populations are approximately 400,000. Foreigners are everywhere. Foreigners are everywhere in Thailand. Even my little village here, there must be about 20 foreigners in this little village out in Rayong. Yep, they're everywhere. Hi, Scott. Good to see you from New Zealand. Thanks for joining me. Oh, we've got 86 in the house. Thanks very much. Have you been to Charm? Yes, I've been to Charm. I've got to say it is probably a poorer version than Hua Hin. Hua Hin for me seems more cosmopolitan, more upmarket, and and there's a lot more going on in Hua Hin than there is in Cha Am. But Cha Am is it is much cheaper to live in Cha Am, which is about 30 or 40 kilometers away from the center of Hua Hin. Then there's a lot more going on in Hua Hin than there is in Cha Am. But they've got some beautiful beaches in Cha Am. Now, I've been to Hua Hin a couple of times, and I liked it many years ago, but now it just seems to be very, very busy. Parking is a nightmare in the city centre when it's home time. It's just a nightmare. The traffic is terrible, and trying to get parked up to go to Walking Street, the nighttime bazaar and things like that, it's just horrendous to try and get parked. So if you live sort of on the outskirts of the centre of Hua Hin, you need transport to get in there, but parking is a nightmare. But that's my opinion. But it is nice. There's a lot more going on in Hua Hin, and it's nice. But the traffic, for me, I wouldn't be happy with the traffic. Pierre King, I feel sorry for the retirees who may have been charged a lot of service fee for getting free advice directly from the tax department. Surprised by sheer number of tax experts in the they were charging 7,000 baht to get your tax ID number. Now, me and my wife helped 3 other guys here get their tax ID numbers for free. We just went down to the tax office. My wife talked to the ladies in the tax office, and within 15 to 20 minutes, we came out of the office with a tax ID number. I haven't got a tax ID number because we went to the tax office when we were helping a friend out, and I asked the question, and they said, because my pension was a government pension, I've already paid tax on it because of the double tax agreement. I don't have to pay tax on my pension, so I never even got a tax ID number. But 7,000 baht to go and get a tax ID number, and in reality, you don't need it. But then again, you might need it in 2027 if they come up with this new tax ID that everybody that lives in Thailand has to have a tax ID number. So let's wait and see. Let's get some good news from Thailand. Have you ever visited Northumbria City? What's that? Non-Tambury. No, I can't say I've visited there. No, I've visited many places, but that's on my list of places that I haven't been. It's a part of Bangkok. Oh, okay. Scott Green, Les, have you lost weight? Yes, I have. Thanks very much for noticing. I've lost, in fact, I'll show you. At my heaviest, I was 118 kilos. That was at my heaviest. And now I'm down to 92 kilos with the effort to go down to at least 90 kilos. So I hung around at 106 kilo for a while, and now I've decided to bite the bullet and go get down to 90. So I was about 94 kilos there. So I'm down to 92 now. But this bottle of water, which we get changed, weekly, that weighs 20 kilos. So I was carrying that around on my belly and everywhere else 24 hours a day. So now I weigh 92 kilos, which is fantastic. I'm over the moon with that. Again, the clothes fit better. Everything is better. I feel healthier. I feel better in myself, with a view to get down to 90 kilos. And that was all to do with the keto diet. Now that I'm 65, so something triggered itself, because I was 106 kilos. And again, I had a bit of a belly, and my shorts and shirts were feeling snug. And I'm thinking, no, I've got to do something about it. I want to live as long as I can. So I thought I need to do something about my health-wise, because I've been overweight all my life. And I've never been this way at 92 for 25 years. 25 years was the last time I weighed this amount. So I'm over the moon with it. I really, really am. So I'm an advocate of the keto diet. So if anybody wants to know about the keto diet, send me an email, and I'll give you this for free. The Ketogenic, a Lifestyle, Not a Diet. That is a fantastic book, and I used that when I first started it. And also, like, I have books on my website, on my Buy Me a Coffee link, air fryer, keto on the air fryer, 5-ingredient keto, which is really, really good. 30 meals in 30 minutes keto, and Thrive on Keto. I sold on my Buy Me a Coffee shop, and each one of them is only $3, so it's the price of a cup of coffee. And there you go. That's the Buy Me a Coffee. If you want to have a look at the keto, look, you can see it works. You can see it works, and it's fantastic. I'm over the moon with it. I do intermittent fasting, so I only eat one meal a day, and the beauty of the keto diet, you don't feel hungry. It's the easiest diet that I've ever been on, and it's fantastic. Oh, yeah, so thanks, Scott. Thanks for mentioning. Thanks very much for noting it. You're looking good, Les. Thank you. Les, I've gone down from 109 to 72 kilos, but it's my missus is starving me. Wow, that's a big loss, down to 72 kilos. I'm looking at maybe 88 kilos. And once I get down to 88 kilos, coming off it, because you always put a couple of kilos back on when you come off any diet. So I want to hover around 90 kilos, and 95 will be my trigger point to do something about it. So to get back down to 90, because I yo-yo, because I like me food and things like that. And it's one of them things, I've always gone up and down my weight all my life, so I'm used to it. But the keto diet for me, I found, is the easiest diet, because once you get into keto, you're not hungry. You just eat one meal a day. So that actually saves you money as well on your shopping bills, because you're only eating one meal a day. Question: Hi, Les. Are you certain if you return to the UK and stay for over 6 months, your pension will go to the current rate payable in the UK? And if then you return to Thailand, it will remain at that rate. Again, as I said, I'm as certain as I can be. And the only people that know 100% more is the pensions department, the international pensions department. But you need to get it in writing. Again, we're still fighting over this issue. I've wrote a few more emails to the Department of Work and DWP with Freedom of Information. I've given them a specific question that I want a specific answer to, not the generic blurb that they send you. So UK is more favourable to get it back, but I think that the nitty gritty of it all is that you've got to show them intent that you are going to stay there. I mean, let's face it, you can say, yeah, I'm going to move back. I'm looking here for 6 months. I'm looking for a house. This is where I am. After 6 months or so, then once you've stayed 6 months, then you just go, because then you're okay for the rest of the year, because you're going to get the rise, and it will be frozen at that rate. But again, as we found on the information, getting blood out of a stone is impossible. They make the rules up, and many comments that I've had, and I've answered almost every one of them, have said, don't say nothing to the Department of Work and Pensions. Well, in reality, if you do that, then it's classed as fraud, and they will have their little AI bots working, looking for irregularities, things like that. And it's your passport tells them where you are in the world. And if they find out that you've been lying, they will recover the money from you, and it will be classed as fraud, and you can end up with a criminal record. That's in the nutshell of everything. But the law, the writing is there. It states that 6 months, 183 days, and you will be entitled to the new rise. Even on the phone call that I had, she confirms it. And I've had it confirmed 3 times by telephone calls. And there's only one time that I've actually recorded the call. And they said, yes, as the rules stand at the minute, you would be entitled. And that's for me moving for 6 months to the Philippines. But the guy that I'm helping out with all of this lot, they've just sent him a generic letter, never even answered any of the questions he was asking about his claim. So the Department of Work and Pensions are criminals, they're crooks themselves. So I can't give you a definitive answer for that. But the people who can, let me give you the telephone number. The International Pensions Department, it's not a free, it's not a free phone, it's not a free call, you have to pay for this one. They are the people that will give you the definitive answer, but I'm sure they won't want to give you it in black and white either. But them are the people. What I would do, I'd record the telephone call, and the first person, I'll wait till this truck goes by. Selling some stuff on the back of the truck. Oh, tools, selling old tools on the back of his truck. So that's what I would suggest. Ring this International Pensions Department, ask them, and the first person that you'll speak to will probably say no, 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 no. But then if you ask to speak to their supervisor, the supervisors tend to know what they're talking about. So you might have a better chance with them. So that's what I would suggest. But again, I'm hoping within the next week or 2 weeks, we get a positive answer with the suggestions and the emails that we've sent asking if we can't get a satisfactory answer from the Freedom of Information Act, then I can send a email to their complaints department of the conflicting information, and then they will have to give me something in black and white. So fingers crossed. It's just like everything else. DWP don't want to commit themselves because, as one guy says, now that I've divulged this information, the floodgates are opened. What a load of rubbish. Floodgates are open. There's 472,000 people have had their pensions frozen. So even if 39,000 people who viewed that video, if every single one of them decided to leave the country for 6 months and do what I'm suggesting, that's still only 8.26% of the people that actually have got their pensions frozen. So how many of the 39,000 that have watched the video, if 1% do that type of thing, it's a drop in the ocean in comparison to what they're raking in every month by not paying the payments. Fingers crossed that I hope it works. I have an NHS pension just over 50,000 baht a month, and I top up with a private pension. Do you know if I will have to pay tax? No, you won't have to pay any. As from the new ruling that's coming in January next, you won't have to pay any tax. And if you're getting it from the UK, yeah, because we have a double tax agreement with the UK, so the likelihood that you won't have to pay. Tim Walker said the same thing. No tax to pay. Yeah, the DWP certainly are crooks. 100% they are. Yes. Les, did you travel to Chiang by train or bus? I went by car. We go everywhere by car. We are going to go by train to Kuala Lumpur next year. Next July for my birthday, it's sort of a big celebration next year for my birthday because I'm 66, so I'm entitled to get my pension then. Me and Ploy have been together for 10 years, so over the moon. So 66 and 10th year anniversary for me and Ploy. So we're going to go down by overnight train to Kuala Lumpur, and then we're going to go to Penang. So fingers crossed, we'll either go by train there and back. If we like the train, we'll go by train back because Ploy doesn't like flying. But if he's not too keen on the train, then we'll fly back to Bangkok. So I'm looking forward to that. Should be good. But I've been on an overnight train in Vietnam from Hanoi to Sapa. That was brilliant. That really, really was good. And super cheap as well. It was just an atmosphere. And my wife wants to go back to there again back to Sapa, Vietnam. I've got to say, I've been around the world and I've visited many beautiful places, but I've got to say, Sapa for me, out of all the places I've been, and I've been to many, many places, Sapa is the number one for that wow feeling. It's stunningly beautiful. It's worth every penny to get there, and it's super cheap to live there, and it's a wonderful place to visit. David S. question: hello, Les. What about to use post Skype? I haven't used anything post Skype yet, but hang on a minute. Let's see if I wrote it down here. There is Viber, I think it is. I think it's called Viber. Let's have a look. See if I've got it on my notes. No, I haven't. Anyway, as far as I can remember, post Skype, Skype was brilliant. It really, really was good. It was so cheap to ring any phone number in the UK. But Viber, I think it was for 100 minutes. Was it 100 minutes? It's about £1.50 or something like that for 100. It's very, very cheap, but it's called Viber. And it's an app. You can have a monthly plan, or you can just do as a pay as you go. And I think it was 100 minutes for £1.50. Don't quote me on that. But with the Americans and the Australians, Canadians, I think for like less than £2, you get unlimited minutes. But for the UK, for some reason, you only get 100 minutes for £1.50. So that's the way I would go. Skype, I've got a little information from Skype and their suggestion to go to a different site, and they're recommending it, but I haven't looked into it. But Viber is, if you just Google it, cheap ways of ringing European countries or, the UK, they will give you a list of suggestions as well. But it certainly is nowhere near as cheap as what it was with Skype. It's sad that Skype finished, but Skype was very, very good. Les, why do you not go back to Kuala Lumpur? Nice and easy. Paperwork and borders in Sabah is only. It's many years ago since I've been to Kuala Lumpur. It's got to be, let me think, 15 years ago. 15 years ago since I was in Kuala Lumpur. So I can't wait to go. My wife's never been, so we can't wait to go there. And we're going to go by train because we came from train from Singapore all the way up to Bangkok and loved it. This is when I was with my Chinese wife. Kuala Lumpur, looking forward to it. Cheers, Les. I will try. Yeah, Viber. Have a go of it. Let me know. Anybody that's using any cheap sites and things like that, have a look at it and see what you can do. The Department of Work and Pensions inform you in writing if you passed or failed the assessment, but they can reassess you and take the habitual residence off you if they think never really intended to settle back in the UK. Yeah, again, as I say, Sandman, with that, why have the 183-day rule if they're going to make their own minds of it? A rule is a rule, in my opinion. But I agree what you say, and to be fair, this is what they've said to my friend as one of the arguments that they had with regard to not giving him his money in the early days before they've given me his full information to say you're not going to get it. Then they said that. They said, oh, we don't think that you intended to stay there a long time. But I've also got it in black and white which is very rare that you get from the DWP, that if you live in a country for 6 months, they would deem that to be a permanent move. So if the Department of Work and Pensions said that, in their opinion, that deems to be a permanent move, that's where the 183 days comes into it. But for them to turn around and say, 183 days we look at as permanent. But if you move out of the UK for 183 days, they class that as you've moved out of the UK. So they can't have the cake and eat it. They're singing their tune that suits them. So again, this is why we're trying to get it in black and white. This is why we're trying to do, nail it down, if you like. and hopefully get an answer in black and white as to why they refused him is up rate, and why they have assessed him for that. They even got his name wrong when they sent him a letter to say, we've looked into this, we're not going to take any further action. They even got his name wrong. So that's how inefficient they are. WhatsApp is another VoIP service too, mate. But with WhatsApp, can you ring normal landlines? I thought the people that you rang on WhatsApp to get a free call, they have to have WhatsApp as well. I don't know about that. I use WhatsApp all the time here from face-to-face conversations. WhatsApp is good. I like that. It's better than Line. WhatsApp's free as long as you have the internet. Oh, all right. I'll have to have a look at that then. So you can ring a UK number on the WhatsApp as long as you've got the internet and it's free. Fingers crossed. I hope that is. Voice over the internet. All right. Okay. There you go. You learn something every day, don't you? 65 and I'm still learning. Viber. Yeah, I mentioned Viber. I don't think you can call normal phone numbers with WhatsApp. Again, that's the thought that I had. Is 55k type out a realistic budget for a single male to retire to Phuket? Phuket is probably one of the most expensive places to stay in Thailand. But it is possible. If you don't live in the center of the tourist location, sort of Phuket, there are many places in Phuket that aren't sort of on the tourist map, if you like, where, if you live a little bit out of the town, but the drinks are much more expensive, the food's much more expensive, the accommodation's much more expensive. I would say go find a cheaper location. It depends what you want, doesn't it? Stunningly beautiful, it is Phuket, but once you've lived there, that stunningly beautifulness it's taken for granted. Whereas me, I live in Rayong. It's not the best place to live in the whole of Thailand. It's not on the tourist map, but we have some nice beaches. We have some nice locations. I'm not too far away from many places here. 3 hours from Bangkok, 3 hours from Koh Chang, 30 minutes away from Koh Samet, an hour and 20 minutes to Pattaya. So if I want to go to Phuket, it's 14 hours drive to get to Phuket from here. And if I spend 2 weeks, then you admire the beauty of it. But boy, do you pay a price for living in Phuket. So 55,000 for a single person. It depends if you like the entertainment life, the bars and the clubs and things like that. You'd struggle on 55. But if you live the normal life where you're not too bothered about the entertainment zones, beer start down there at 100 baht, whereas up in Pattaya, up here, and even in Rayong, you still get for 60 or 70 baht. All that adds up. Same as the meals are more expensive. Well, everything's more expensive in Phuket. So a quick answer to your question, 55, you'll be on the fringes of it. You won't live your best life on 55 grand a month there. But you could live 55,000 baht a month here where I am in Rayong, that's for sure. And we still get some nice weather here. We've got some beautiful beaches, but it isn't as popular as Phuket for sure. That was a long answer, wasn't it? 82 people in the house. I can't see how many thumbs up, but it helps the algorithm. So if you like the content, give it a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Okay, let's have a look. If I live in Thailand, I use Messenger and stuff like that. And that's free. And I speak to my sister almost on a weekly basis using the Messenger, and that's good quality. That I used to speak to my mum and me stepdad on the Facebook Messenger, and again, that's just like being sat in the next room to them. So there are ways and means. I'm not the greatest technophobe in the world, but I'm sure that there is answers to all of these questions. And anybody that is a technophobe, please leave a mention in the comments of ways of doing it. But Viber is my next. I will give that a go, because I need to ring up the pensions department again, and I'll record the call, because depending on what answers I get in this next one, whether I need to ring them or not. But I've sort of got the bull by the horns, and it's one of my things that I won't let go, because I know the ruling is there, and I just want it in black and white. Even if the turn around says no, you can't have it for this reason, then I've got it in black and white, and then I can actually stop fighting it. But until then, I'll keep on fighting it. Have you ever had any problems transferring money to Thailand via Wise? Never, ever had a problem. And I was going to say Wise is very, very good. Again, this is a cost. If I looked on Wise today before I come here, because earlier on we were talking about people sending money back home to the home countries, wherever. And there is there used to be a company called D-Money. D-Money's still there now, but it's had a little bit of up and down, and it's working again, but it's not as perfect as it was before. And there's a second company now called Revolt, and that's the same as Wise. But if you transferred a bank transfer, I transfer my money from my UK bank over to Wise, and then every first of the month I transfer it from Wise over to my Thai bank account. And for 1,591, I use 70,000 baht as an example if you use Revolt. So let's use 70,000 baht, which is 1,591 pounds at today's rate. That would cost you £10.53 to send that amount of money from your Wise account to Thailand, which is very, very cheap in comparison to doing it from bank to bank. So yes, Wise is good. I've used Wise now for a good 10 years, and I'm happy, pleased with their service. It's usually, if you're doing it on the 31st, first of the month, it might take 1 or 2 days. But if you're transferring stuff over mid-month, then it can be there the same day. But no, I haven't had any problems with Wise at all. And I would recommend Wise to anybody. All right, where else? Yeah. Frank, yeah, that's why you get a SIP call. I had to call my bank in England from Thailand. It cost me £35 for 15 minutes. Wow. That's a lot of money. When there's, as if you'd done it through Skype, it would have cost you pennies. But Viber, give Viber a look, and because it's, I think £1.50 for 100 minutes. You get a lot of conversations for 100 minutes for £1.50, or you can have a monthly plan for about $3 or $4 a month, something like that. Pauline question, hi Les, to renew retirement visa, do you have to go to your original bank to get a bank statement, as I'm in Buriram, and I opened the account at Pattaya? No, if you're in Buriram, you can go to any Bangkok bank. You just need to take your passport and your bank book with you, and they'll be able to do your statements. So yeah, you can do that, no problem. Have you tried transferring by WU, Les? I've not heard of WU, so that's new to me. Thanks, Les. I've also used many times before. Sometimes it takes 5. Yeah, Wise. It can be done in 5 seconds. And bing, as soon as you click that button, it's in your account. Agreed. I use Wise all the time. Yeah, Wise is very, very good. Wise transfers 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah, again, 31st of the month and 1st of the month, it can take up to a day or so. And again, and I'm okay with that. I mean, again, what I've looked at today, because I get a regular payment transfer. So the first of every month, money goes from my account into Wise. Now I'm just setting up a schedule of payments in Wise. So on the first of the month, so I don't even have to log into Wise to send my payment. It's just a new feature that I've just seen popped up in Wise. So I can actually get my money automatically transferred over to Wise, and then Wise can automatically send it to my bank account in Thailand also on the first of every month. So that's what I'm going to do as from next month, is do that. So, and then you don't even have to worry about logging into your bank account to do that type of thing. Oh, Western Union. Western Union, a friend of mine used to use Western Union to transfer money, but apparently the charges are quite high in Western Union. And trying to find a Western Union bank as well sometimes might be a bit more difficult. What's a bank book? Not seeing one for, yeah. We got told off by immigration last year. Yeah, we have a bank book and it doesn't have many pages in it, so it soon gets full. And we got told off last year, even though we supplied 12 months statements from the bank account, and we got a letter from the bank to say that the bank has given us these 12-month statements signed by the manager. She said, I want to see your bank book updated more often. And my question to her is, why do you need to do that? I said, I live 20 kilometers away from the bank. So I said, I don't go down to the bank. I do everything online. I do everything by app transfer and things like that. So I said, I've no need to go into the bank. And she just looked and she said, I want more update on your bank book. So my wife just like nudged me like, shut up, Les. I said, okay. So now every time we go into BandPay to get some shopping, I'll go and get my bank book updated. Crazy, isn't it? Because they've got all the statements there anyway. But the power of the pen, she who holds the pen, who can grant you your retirement visa or marriage visa in my case, she is God, and you do whatever she asks. And we said, yeah, okay. Western Union give me a better rate than Wise. All right, well done. Again, as I said, one of the guys that I know used to get it done by Western Union. He said it was quite expensive. Again, this is years ago, and you know things move on, don't they? Let's have a look. Did Logic gives the UK number at 78 cents US dollars a month. Yeah, again, I need to look into something like I don't call England very often. So Skype for me, I had like a tenner on it, £10 credit on Skype, and that lasted for 2 or 3 years. And I think when Skype closed, I still had £1.50 left on my credit. Why is getting slow now sending money? Oh, again, I've not really found that. So if you live in the UK, you can open a bank account with Revolt, which you can have an English, Oz, and a Thai account, can swap money between them, send money to a Thai bank account and bank exchange rate. Yeah, the exchange rate is pretty good. Again, I mean, just to give you an example, because I looked at Revolt this morning, and to send 70,000 baht is £1,591. 1,591 is 70,000 baht. But 69,058 is 1,951. So you get a better exchange rate sending it back to the UK, but you pay almost double what you'd pay to get your money in the first place from England to Thailand. £10.53 to send 70,000 baht to Thailand from the UK, and to send 1,591 back to the UK is £23. It's like everything else, isn't it? Swings and roundabouts, you do what you need to do. Right. Right. If you don't update your bank book for 6 months, it will just take a line or two to say what's gone. Yeah, but then that isn't updated because they might miss a few lines. And what immigration want to see is that it's upgraded very often so they can basically see what's going on and it matches the statement. I can't hold me bottle. It's crazy, isn't it, what they ask for sometimes? But is it too much? I don't think so. It's never impossible, is it? You know, they might ask for some silly things, but it can always be done. Right, so I'll take that advertisement off there. Okay, I'll put, so that's my link to me buy me a coffee if you want to have a look at the ebooks and things like that. I have a number of ebooks, and if you want to buy a coffee cup like that as well, they're $350 or $7. And I can post to Thailand, but I can't post anywhere in the world because the Thai postal service will not post it anywhere around the world. And apparently now the postal service have stopped parcels going to America because of the tariffs. Crazy, isn't it? Right, let's see where else we've got here. Okay, another thing that I use, which is good. I never had one for many years. It is a VPN. VPNs, I didn't realize how good they are because there's a certain amount of protection there against spam and stuff like that. And I've got Netflix, and I've sort of exhausted all of the movies because I'm in the Thailand Netflix. So I've sort of seen all the movies, and I'm scrolling, I've seen it. And so I took out the Surfshark VPN, and that's what I'm with at the minute. And I've logged on to Netflix in America. So now I've got a whole different bunch of movies that I can watch from Surfshark using the VPN and watching Netflix from America. It really is good. It's like having another TV service. And it worked out at $72 for 27 months or something like that. And I have got a link down below with regard to Surfshark. If you use my link, then you get 3 months extra. You get 27 months for, I think, $72. And that's sort of the mid-range. They do, a better service and they do a cheaper service. But I found with a mid-range service for the $72 for 27 months, it's the best value because it gives you some protection as well. And it's really good. So I can't complain about it. Surfshark. I never had a VPN for years, but they're really good. So that's new telephone numbers, Viber. That's the one that I will be using. And Surfshark for the VPN. So I'll have a look at that. What else have we got on here? That's about it. I think I've nearly covered all the topics now that I put on my list for talking about. Great list of free-to-air TV channels. For my next extension, I have to show my updated bank book, last 12 months statement, letter from the bank confirming bank details and bank. Yeah, I mean that's normal for us. With the marriage visa, there's a whole lot more paperwork to do in excess of that as well. They can ask for some weird and one. Like the last time, she wanted to see the electricity bill. Our landlady pays our electricity and we pay her, but thankfully the meter reader sticks his little piece of paper in our little box. So we just came home, took that. Even wasn't even in our name, but she was okay with that. She wanted to see the landlady's shnut you know, we've been seeing the same immigration lady for six years, but now she wants to see the landlady Chinook to say she owns the house that we're renting off her. Every year we go back to her and she just asks for different things over and above what they should be asking for. But thankfully she's gone October, so we don't renew our visa until December. So there's a new girl there now, and apparently by all accounts she's much more of a nicer personality, much more helpful, much more friendly, and so fingers crossed it should be a better experience, because the last 6 years, every time we've gone there, there's been problems. VPN is good, but have you tried Wiz for the TV? Wiz? No, I never heard of that one. There's somebody that I know does the TV boxes here for about 2,500 baht, and supposedly you can get all the movies and stuff like that. And it's no yearly upfront payment or whatever. It's just all been done. Now, I used to do the boxes years and years ago, but then, you know, the phone calls were like, "Oh, Les, you know, everything's gone off again. Can you come and reset it? Can you put in?" And it just got too much of a trouble, so I stopped doing the boxes. I know there's the Fire Sticks now. You pay 65. A guy from England, £65 a year, and he gets a new number, and that gives him a year's worth of movies, football, and all the sports and stuff like that. I'm not really a big TV watcher. YouTube and Netflix, them are my two favourites. I've got a projector and a big 100-inch screen, so when I watch movies, I've got me wireless headphones, so my wife doesn't listen to it. I was watching a war movie yesterday, so she's happy when I got my headphones on, because she can't hear all the noises of the guns and the blowing up and stuff like that. So yeah, we've got a normal 55-inch TV and then a big 100-inch screen when I have my movie nights. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of TV. I certainly don't miss any of the English TV whatsoever. Last time I was over in England at my sister's house, there was like 10 minutes of adverts and 10 minutes of program. Grand Designs and The Place in the Sun was my two favorite programs that I watched. And I timed it, and it was like 10 minutes of adverts to 10 minutes of program. Crazy. And at least with YouTube, okay, there might be a bit of advertising going on, but you can, you know, it's only like no more than 30 seconds as opposed to 10 minutes of the UK TV. Trace Blackwell, good morning, Les. You're looking good, mate. I think you might have to go to the size t-shirt, go down a size t-shirt. Yeah, maybe it's looking a bit. Yeah. From originally from 118 kilos, I'm down to 92 kilos now, and I've got another 4 or 5 kilos that I want to lose. Fly buzzing around. But that was my heaviest, 118 kilos, but I've lost 14 kilos from 106 down to 92, and I'm over the moon with it. Everything fits better, everything feels better. I touch my toes now. Alan Brown, today on Wise, 43.83 to the pound. Yeah, again, yeah. I mean, gone are the days like Brexit. Just before Brexit, it was 52 baht to the pound. That was fantastic. Everything was so cheap then. So thanks very much, Brexit. It certainly ruined our pound to the Thai baht. And for a brief period this year, it got to almost 45, which was just like, yeah, if it stays at 45, I'll be happy at that. But down to 43, and it topped to, well, it went down to 42.96 at its lowest. So let's hope it goes back up again to the dizzy heights of 45, 46. That would be fantastic. David, question, do you have to just have transactions just on the retirement visa due to having to leave your money in after your visa is granted? Do you have to have transactions just on the retirement visa due to having to leave your money in after your visa is granted? The marriage, you don't. Yeah, the 800,000, again, just touching on that, before, you used to have to leave in the bank for 3 months. I was listening to somebody again on the YouTube the other day. He said the banks are now saying you have to leave it in there for 4 months. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know, but the average was 3 months. And then, so it was 2 months before the application and 3 months after. So in effect, 800,000 baht has to be in your bank account for 5 months of the year. Your 400,000 baht for your marriage visa only has to be in 2 months prior to your application. Then you can use it all. There's nothing in writing for it to say it has to stay in your account forever. So that's the beauty of the marriage visa, is that your 400,000, as long as it's there two months before the application, that's okay. But I'm on the income method, so I only have to show 40,000 baht a month because I'm on the marriage visa, and that's easily achievable for me. So 40,000 baht a month, the income method. So I don't even have the 400,000 baht in the bank. Markets don't like uncertainties. So with Brexit, 4.5 years to trying to stop Brexit. Yeah, again, that was crazy, wasn't it? I mean, the markets now are going crazy because what's going on in the UK is just stupid. You know, every time he opens his mouth, there's got to be uncertainty. And the budget that's going to happen in October, wow, is that going to affect a lot of people? You know, the £50 billion black hole, unbelievable. It's just going to be crazy. It's going to be, it's going to be crazy for everybody who lives in the UK with what's going to go on. With the highest tax now since the Second World War, and we get less of a service now than what we did. You know, and it's just going to go in the opposite direction, isn't it? Up and up and up and up. And for what? Yeah, the pound went to below 38. It was worst a few. Yeah, I was there, and when it got to 37, I'm thinking, okay, maybe I should go. If it got to 35, I was seriously considering going back to England for a year or so, just to, try recoup a little bit of the losses, because 35 was a terrible time. You know, it was very expensive when it got, 37, not 35. But that's when I was, me plans were, if it got to 35, I was going to go back to England. Thankfully, it never. So 44, 45, for me, 45 would be ideal. You get arrested for saying you like bacon. You can stay woman without being arrested. Yeah. Crazy. The thought police, some of my thoughts on here, some of the answers to some of the questions that people have asked. If the thought police looked at, I might get a knock on the door by the thought police for even thinking about that. Again, my common one was, now that the government have challenged the hotels policy, the fact that they have to get rid of the people from the hotels, because the judge ruled against it, is that he's going to get Lucy Connolly's judge to have a look at the appeal, because then it's been pockled, doesn't it? But my thoughts are, if it does get overturned, wow, there'll be a lot of super bad feeling going on in the UK, because it'll be obvious that it's been pockled to overturn the government. It's bad times going on at the minute in the UK. I'm glad I left. Bought my condo 20 years ago. I remember it being 67 when I came over. It was just super cheap then at 67 baht. If only you would even get to 50 would be remarkable, wouldn't it? Well done, anyway. Well done. 20 years ago, bought your condo. So you'll have made a bit of money on that. Christopher, afternoon, lads. Just arrived at Sapphire Village near Banpei. Nice breeze and cooler than Buriram. Looking forward to exploring the area. Yeah, well, it's a lovely area. Enjoy Sapphire. It's a lovely little village, nice little swimming pool. enjoy. If you can be arrested for saying I like bacon, then may as well do something and get arrested for. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? How ridiculous it is. And there's going to be, because it's like protests going on all this weekend, yesterday and today, but the mainstream media aren't covering it. They aren't making it known to everybody what's going on. But it's a crazy time, isn't it? It really, really is crazy. There isn't an audit on YouTube that goes into these hotels. They had them iPhones and Samsung Sims arrivals and £70 a week spending money. Yeah, again, yeah. It's just the hypocrisy of it, the hypocrisy of everything, you know. I mean, some of the people slag me off for fighting for the pensioners, you know. They say, some of the comments that I've had on here is that pensioner, even though you get your pension, if you leave the country, you shouldn't be entitled to anything because you're not spending it in the UK. But you paid into the class is a benefit now, but it's the only benefit that you actually have to pay into all your working life, and they make the rules up as far as paying it to give it back. Whereas if you lived in like Bermuda or Barbados and things like that, Mauritius, expensive islands, you still get your pension upgrade, but living in Thailand, no, you don't. So the reason people live in Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, things like that, because it's a low cost of living. So therefore, every pound goes a little bit further. But when they're taking the extra pounds off you because you're living in a different country, it's like, oh, forget about it. Yeah, crazy, isn't it? I hope the people who wrote the bad comments with regard to pensioners shouldn't get a rise, you know, suffer immeasurably when they get older. And I hope they don't get what their just desserts are. And slagging off somebody that wants to help his fellow man, crazy. And even thinking that, you know, a pensioner, because he has the audacity to leave the UK, shouldn't be getting any pension whatsoever. Crazy. Us expats who live outside of the UK, we're not a burden on the system. I never go to the NHS hospital. I never see the doctors. I don't have any treatments, no free prescriptions, no bus travels. So actually, I still pay tax in the UK on my fire brigade pension. So I hope they're putting my taxes to good use, because I'm not certainly getting any benefit from it. In fact, my pensions, my lifetime of paying tax now that I'm retired is obliterated by one gentleman who arrives on a plastic boat into this country, £51,000 a year to look after this one gentleman, and that is a lifetime of my retirement taxes just gone on this one gentleman. Is that money well spent? I think not. Thanks, Les, for your support to this twisted pension arrangement. Yeah, let's hope that something gets done about it. They're only jealous of us because we have escaped the miserable UK. Yeah, I mean, there is a bit of that, and there's a little bit of envy and things like that. I'm not envy or jealous of anybody. You know, if people get on in life. You know, I'm happy with what I've got. I'm a glass half full type of guy all the time. I've got no time for woe is me and things like that. I've been through some savage divorces and divorces, and it's just like, you know, pick yourself up, dust yourself down and move on. Les, when can we expect a car washing video? I did one the other day. And when I came to edit it, it was like 17 minutes long, which is not the normal. And from 13 minutes onwards, my microphone, the battery had run out. So I was talking alone for a good 5 or 7 minutes that hadn't recorded. So I had to scrap that video. So I'll do another one as well next week sometime. So yeah, car washing videos. I like them, and lots of other people like them as well for some reason. But yeah, it'll be a car washing video, and it'll be another popular subject. Thanks very much for reminding me and watching them. So we're 1.5 hours into this now. So anybody got any other questions? Anybody got any other questions? Because this is your chance to ask. And this is your chance to ask anything you want. Again, for those people who think of a question or whatever, you can always email me and I'll give you the questions by emails. And for those people that are interested in losing a few pounds, you know, I will give you this for free if you're looking at the keto diet. I'll give you that one for free. Just send me an email. And ketogenic lifestyle, not a diet. And I've lost from 106 down to 92 as we sit here. And you can see, that's the other thing. I've got a turkey neck now. And I've got a little bit of saggy skin, but they don't tell you about that, do they? But as my skin's been stretched for more than 25 years, yeah, it's to be expected, isn't it? Oh, me tooth. The last time I had the live stream, I had a chipped crown. So I've had that partially repaired now. I've had the false one put in whilst they're making the porcelain one. Again, the dentist, I've done a video on the dentist. Brilliant dentist, absolutely pain-free, a nice, pleasant experience, very modern, could speak perfect English, and 12,000 baht to get a new crown put on. So I've had 2 crowns off. I had four front teeth, which were all crowns, and the one that cracked the other day was just a silly little accident. I had a yogurt pot, and the little pull label had come off. So I grabbed all of it with my teeth, and I heard a crack, and that was it, just cracked. And 25 years I'd had that, so not too bad, is it? And it cost me 12,000 baht to get a new crown put in. So I go back next Saturday to get the second, so that's 2 weeks. And I was in the chair for 2 hours. He had the trouble to get the other crown off there. It was really in place, and then he ground the tooth down a little bit more. So yeah, 2 hours. I don't like dentists. I've never ever liked dentists, but 2 hours in the dentist was a long time. But it'll look okay when it's finished. And what else am I going to go and do? Okay, for health wise, this is what I'm going to do. Again, I'll do another video on this as well. For those people who can't afford their, insurance because maybe have 1 or 2 things wrong with them, I'm going to go down to Bangkok early next month to go and have a lung and a heart check done. 9,900 baht from the Bangkok hospital in Bangkok, and they will check my lung and my the arteries going to my heart. And that, when all's said and done, that's the things that keep you alive, isn't it? Your lung and your heart. So I'm going to go and get them checked, and I'm going to do a video on it, and we'll see where we go. I've got emphysema, so hopefully it'll pick it up and it'll tell me if it's got any worse or if it's still the same as what it was before. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. So that's 2 nights we're going to spend in Bangkok, and the hospital trip, 9,900 baht. So again, I'll do a video on that, and then everybody else can see what it's like. Oh. Les, do you think the exchange rates will get any better? Maybe it's for you, for the New Zealand dollar, but for England, I think not. I think it's on a downward spiral. That's because, people will only spend money in the UK if they've got a good feeling. And investment in the UK. We're driving millionaires away and billionaires away, and it's them people who invest in the UK. They are the wealth providers. They are the job entrepreneurs who create jobs. And because of Rachel Reeves, or Rachel from accounts, his actions, we're forcing them away. There is no strong urge or strong, what's the word I'm looking for, incentive for wealthy people to invest in the UK at the minute. It's going a slippery slope and it's going in the wrong direction. So I think with the UK, it's not certainly going to get any better for the foreseeable future. Maybe it's for the next 4 years until reform get in. And I think once reform get in, that's when everything will perk up and it'll go in an upwards direction. Like him or not like him, Nigel Farage is the only person who's actually talking this country up, you know, of what he was going to do and how he's going to do it. With the Conservatives, it's all doom and gloom, and certainly Labour, every time they open their mouth, it's doom and gloom, isn't it? So we'll see what happens. But even so, you take the rough with the smooth living here in Thailand. You know, the weather's beautiful. You know, life is good here. I love living here. And okay, at the minute, it's got its ups and downs with regard to visas, banks, and things like that. That's only short term. It will fix itself sooner or later. Stammer his father. Oh, you could get locked up for saying something like that. Oh, they'll be knocking at your door, that's for sure. Les, if you going for a trip to Bangkok for a medical checks, would you consider a trip to North Anjaburi? Yeah, of course I would. Yeah. I'm looking at maybe it's the first week in September. So yeah, send me an email with your phone number and details, and you know, we can see where we go from there. Because if we're in Bangkok area, yeah, no problem. Scott Green, love the heat, hate the cold. Yeah, I do. I never ever want to be cold again. But without proper clothing, the wife wants to go to Korea to see proper snow, and that's on my bucket list. There's a friend of mine as well. His girlfriend wants to go and see proper snow, as opposed to the fake snow that you get in the ice domes over here. In Chiang Mai Zoo, it's got an ice dome, which is just ice, and it's not proper snow. So looking at going to Korea for 5 days, and you can hire all the warm clothing, because, you know, if you bought any warm clothing over here, you'll never, ever wear it again. So it's worthwhile just hiring the clothes, a snowsuit and jackets and warm clothing whilst we're over there in Korea. It's a 5-hour flight. My wife doesn't like flying, but she said she's making the exception to go and see proper snow. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. Korea, not this winter, but the following winter. So just over a year's time. So we're going to look at that and see what we're going to do. Again, it's on our bucket list. I've seen snow. I love skiing when I used to go skiing, and so whether she'll go up a gondola to see and on the mountains, which I think she's got to go and do it to get the full benefit. Seeing the snow on the mountains, it's stunningly beautiful. So I'm looking forward to that. 5 days in Korea. So I've got many things that I want to do when I get my state pension, and that is just my travel money, and I'm looking forward to that day. So that's another reason why I'm going to go down to the Bangkok to go and get me medical checkup to make sure I'm going to survive for another year or so. And prevention is better than cure. And if there is anything going wrong, my arteries getting clogged up and things like that, then you can do something about it early. And, you know, when all said and done, it's not a lot of money, a couple of £100, is it? 9,910, about 220, 230 quid, and a couple of nights in Bangkok. So that's what I'll be doing next month, early next month. I've seen 30,000 bloggers saying the real reason expats are leaving Thailand. What do you think is the real reason? I can't see that many people leaving Thailand. I just, my own personal opinion of this is bad news sells, doesn't it? bad news sells newspapers, and bad news gets clicks. And because somebody says, "Oh, we're leaving because of this, leaving because of that, leaving because of the other," I don't see it. There's not one person that I know and has wrote to me and said, "I'm leaving Thailand because of this reason or that reason." There was a lot of talk about people with the tax, are on about leaving Thailand because they don't want to pay any tax. I understand that, but if you're settled here, why would you want to leave Thailand? It's just a few more hoops that you have to jump through, and especially now with the tax incentive, hopefully by January of next year, that we don't have to pay. We go back to the status quo as how it was. Thailand for me is a beautiful place. Is it a little bit more expensive? Yes, it is. But so is everywhere else in the world. It's a little bit more expensive. So as far as pound for baht's concerned, we take the rough with the smooth. House prices are still very cheap over here. Food is still affordable. I mean, me and the wife went out the other day on the last video that I did. Two of us ate for 300 baht, including drinks, which, okay, the drinks was a Coke and a soft drink, soda water. But I had my Caesar salad. My wife had a spaghetti with bacon, 300 baht. For two of us, you pay that for a cup of coffee back in the UK. So yeah, we still live on less than 65,000 baht a month here, and I couldn't live that lifestyle in the UK at all. And I might have to go back to the UK within this next year. There's one or two things that I might have to do. And again, and I'll do another video of the cost of everything in the UK. And I don't think it's going to be any cheaper than what it was when I was there last year, because it's stupidly priced. So yeah, I don't believe there's as many people as what they're saying leaving Thailand. And I just think some of the YouTubers have just jumped on the bandwagon and have said what they've said to get the clicks, to get the views. I'm the opposite against that. I don't think there's that many people leaving Thailand. I certainly won't be leaving Thailand for any reason that's been suggested. It isn't any more expensive than what it used to be. The people are still friendly. The banking episode, that's because of the people washing their money, or the Chinese and the Russians washing the money. So the Thais have got to do something about it. The visas, the education visas, it's a scam. It really is a scam, and now they're looking at that. Can you blame them for doing that? I can't blame them for doing that at all. They just want legitimate people in here doing legitimate things, not causing any hassle. So I can't blame them for doing that. So it's nothing untoward. They don't hate foreigners. I live in a beautiful village here, friendly, happy, go-lucky people. Crime is almost zero. That's all the good points about it. I've got nothing bad to say about Thailand at all. Anyway, that's my quick answer to that one. I can't understand why people are leaving, but it's up to them. When you see expats leaving because they don't like the fact that it's harder to get a tourist visa. No, it isn't harder. You can still get a tourist visa. It's harder to get a retirement visa for sure. But a tourist visa, you still get your 60 days coming in, and then you can extend that for 30 days. And you can do that twice in 1 year. So 90, 180, 270 days you can get in Thailand on that visa. That's way more than the average tourist wants. So yeah, it's still not a problem over here. Queen's Sirikit Heart Centre in Khon Kaen University Hospital has an excellent reputation and fraction of the costs of private hospitals. Yeah, again, I've looked at various costs of hospitals, and at the minute, Bangkok Hospital is doing the better deal than several other private hospitals. Yeah, okay. Okay, Tim. Yeah, I get that. Thank you. Girls still cheap? Do you think so? I don't think so. By all accounts, the girls are much more expensive now than they used to be. Les, if you were starting from scratch again, would you consider Vietnam as a number one choice above Thailand? Yes, yes. I like Vietnam. I've been from the south right up to the north of Vietnam, and I loved it. And yes, I would certainly look at Vietnam seriously if I was to start all over again. I like Vietnam. It's beautiful. It's cheap. Again, nice people, but just so busy. Again, I think English is better spoken here in Thailand than it is in Vietnam. That's a big thing. Being able to communicate with your girlfriend or your wife, yeah, that's a big thing. But again, I think for those people who are starting out or thinking about it, I'd go and spend 6 months in Vietnam and spend 6 months in Thailand. A friend of mine, he spent a few months in the Philippines and a few months in Thailand. He liked Thailand because it was more, the infrastructure was better, the Wi-Fi was better, much cleaner, and a lot less crime in Thailand than there was in the Philippines. But he loved the Philippines because he can have a conversation with the majority of people in the Philippines because English is widely spoken. And he said if Thailand could speak English as well as the Philippines, Thailand be a no-brainer. Everybody would want to stay in Thailand. And yeah, English is widely spoken here, but it's not to the same extent as it is in the Philippines. So yeah, Philippines has got its positives and its negatives, as does Thailand. I don't think anybody will find a perfect country to live in. I think no matter where you live in the world, there's going to be a certain amount of problems. And if there is a perfect country in the world, then everybody that's living there is staying very, very quiet and saying nothing. Vietnam don't do a retirement visa, so what visa would you stay a long time? There is something, the change in the visa laws now, I believe, in Vietnam, where you can have a long stay holiday there. But don't quote me on that, but I have heard something about that they are changing the goalposts for the visas. But yeah, I agree. It's a lot more difficult to live there full time. But if you were married to a Vietnamese, then life would be a little bit easier because then it's a bit easier to get the visa. I divide my time between Bangkok and Singapore, the perfect balance for me. Yeah, Singapore, we loved Singapore when we went there. Very expensive, but very clean and very beautiful. But again, Singapore isn't very big. Once you've seen it all. Vietnam is great, but beware the scooters. Yeah, when the roads are full, they'll use the pavements. But when I very first went to Vietnam, and you don't know the little peculiar ways that they have, a little old lady grabbed hold of my hand and walked me across the road because I was like hesitant as to walking because there wasn't a blank space everywhere. You know, the motorcyclists and the cars were just, and she just grabbed hold of my hand and walked me. You know, she was a little sweet lady, about 70 or 80-year-old. And she got me there and I said, oh, thank you very much. And then reading as you do, that's the thing that you do in Vietnam. You walk across the road, you don't stop. And because you're walking, all the traffic will avoid you. Just weird how we went on. But yeah, I like Vietnam. But just so polluted was the cities. Hanoi and Hanoi was super exciting, super to walk around. Very, very many interesting places. But the car fumes and the smells there was, very polluted city. But Sapa, again, I went to Sapa, one of the most beautiful places I've visited in the world. And we're going to go back to there again. Cambodia is supposed to be a lot easier for visas, yes. But I've only ever heard of two places, Phnom Penh and Sihanoukville. And apparently Sihanoukville has been taken over by the Chinese, and the gambling and the crime there. It's sort they don't want the backpackers, they want the gamblers there. And many people have complained that Cambodia isn't the place it used to be. Everything changes, doesn't it? 90-day tourist fees from Vietnam, you can renew them forever. You just have to leave the country every 90 days. Too much hassle for me. Yeah, again, I don't know about that, Tim, but 90 days, yeah, I mean, that is a lot. That's quite often, isn't it? Every 90 days to leave the country. I walked across. Okay. Yeah. So there are many places, but like me, I retired at the age of 50, and I loved it. And I loved my retirement. Now, the retirement age has gone up to 66, 67, and hopefully it'll stay around that number. But I think the government have reviewed it, or they are reviewing it now. They're supposed to review it every 6 years, but now it's been 3 years, and they're going to review it again. And that means one thing: they're going to make it in the upwards direction, because sadly, we're living too long. The government want you to work, pay all this money into the government, and then as soon as you finish work, they want you to die. And then they're happy, job done. But because we're living longer, they're now saying that you have to work longer, maybe 68, 69, 70-year-old. Fancy working until you're 70-year-old, and then that's only when then you can retire. Crazy. Where's the golden years of your life? The things that you can. I've loved retirement. I've embraced retirement. I never want to retire from being retired. I love the freedom it gives you, the options of what you want to do, as opposed to having to do something because you have to work or something like that. But for those people that are approaching retirement, don't screw it up. You only get one chance of it. So do what you want to do. Don't be living the life that other people think that you should live. Go and live your life, because when all's said and done, I'm 65 now. I've had more years behind me than I have in front of me. So therefore, I've lived 82% of my life, because the average age of a Brit is 80. So I've only got 15 more years before I get to that age, statistic. Hopefully I'll live till 100, but statistically it says 80. So I'm down to my last 15 years. And health issues and, getting old, moans and groans and illness can creep up on you. I've never met anybody who's died healthy. They've always died of something. So that's what I'm saying. I'm down to my last 15 years. So do what you want to do whilst you can, for as long as you can, when you can. So retire as soon as you can. Don't wait. Don't be one of these OMYs. One more year. I know I've talked to 4, 5, 6 people, certainly 4 or 5. 1 more year. I'm going to do it for one, and then I'm going to retire. And then people who have retired have actually gone back to work because they were bored. Crazy. But, do what you want to do, but you're in your last 20% of living once you get to 65, that's for sure. From 7 years back, the living age has been dropping, but the pension age continues. Yeah, I think they've pocketed the figures, haven't they? They've said that you're living longer, so we're going to pay you less. Yeah, the great pockling. I think they tried to kill thousands of people when that flu epidemic that killed thousands of people, didn't it? And when they let it get into the nursing homes and things like that because they didn't take proper care. I think there was a plan. It was a cull, and the government tried to cull as many old people as they could, and they managed pretty well, didn't they? And now doesn't even look upon, it's a cold. Crazy. Yeah. Again, they're going to pocket the figures. They're always going to make the figures look better in their mind, aren't they? Pay you less, work for longer. The government are replacing people that that work with people that don't. Yeah, I mean 9 million people that are on the benefit system. Again, but when I was in the job as a fireman, going around putting smoke detectors in, and we went a lot to the social housing, and they're all sat there getting bladdered, with the cans of Stella and Carlsberg on a beautiful sunny day, sat and getting absolutely minging, and we're putting smoke detectors and drugs cabinets in these houses. And I'm thinking, who's got it right? These people here, they live on benefits, they're getting the house paid for, they're getting so much to live on, and the work, on the black type of thing, fiddling, and they're probably on more money than me. In fact, with the PIP payments and things like that, if you're being registered sick, you can actually get more money than those people who are working 40 hours a week. And that's got to be wrong, hasn't it? Yeah, again, like it or not, the whole welfare system needs to be looked at. But at the minute, it's like a hot potato. Nobody wants to deal with it because the hot potato isn't popular in everybody's mind. Adding 35 years of low birth rates and the declining age in population, 2005 average 31. Yeah, but there's lots of young virile men coming to the UK that will increase the birth rate. So in 40 or 50 years' time, again, not being racist or anything, there was this one guy, and I always remember it. I remember seeing on TV, and he says, the British people have 1 or 2 babies, and that's it. He said, me, being a upstanding citizen that just entered our country, he said, I'll have 12 kids, and my kids will have 12 kids, and their kids will have 12 kids. So he said, we're going to outbreed you. So then your country will never, ever belong to you. And there's some right in that, isn't there? They breed like little bitty rabbits. And eventually the demographics will change and we'll be strangers in our own country. Life expectancy in Thailand is 77.41 years now, higher than many Western countries. Yeah, 77. But if that's just for the Thai population, the Thai people work extremely hard. Ploy's mum and dad are in the mid 60s, and they put me to shame. They work in the fields all day in the blazing sun, and it sort of doesn't. They don't bat an eyelid. I work in the sun here for an hour, and I'm absolutely panting and out of breath. So the Thai people, give them the due. They work very bloody hard over here for not a lot of money. Hello, Les. Do you and your missus grow your own fruit and veg? I did at one stage. I had hydroponics, grew my own tomatoes, peppers, and stuff like that. It's so cheap at the market. It's not really worth all the effort. And we like our holidays. So, again, like behind us, they're all plastic. All our plants, that's plastic. Can you see any more? They're plastic. Never need watering. So we've spent a lot of money on plastic plants because take no care to looking at. We've got plastic grass. I mean, that's real grass there. So I have to cut that and I have to cut the hedge. So no, because we like our holidays and we might go away for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. And we go away quite often. So that sort of interrupts our time for spending at home, growing things. And it's just so cheap to buy it at the market anyway. So I used to do that, the hydroponics, and I enjoy doing that. But it takes a lot of effort, a lot of time. And for me, the time spent isn't worth it when you can just go to the market, get it fresh. Yeah, we might start growing our own lettuces again because I like lettuce and I like rocket and stuff like that. And it's just so easy to grow. But no, I spend a lot of time doing DIY stuff and I'm doing stuff around the house as well. So no, we don't. grow our own vegetables. Maybe as we should do, but I'm okay buying it from the market. It's the fast-growing middle class in Thailand, work before family. Up in East End, they still make babies in a fast rate. People don't want to be farmers. People look down upon farmers as they are the lower class people. But if it wasn't for the farmers, we wouldn't be eating the food that we're getting. And I have big respect for anybody that works in the farming industry, because it's bloody hard work, no matter where you are in the world, and especially over here. Brussels sprouts, I love Brussels sprouts. I like all my salad, all my vegetables. That's the one good thing about it. My wife doesn't like salad or vegetables, but I like them all. So I have as much as I can. Cauliflower and broccoli. Yeah, cauliflower and broccoli, and me too. And beetroot, I like beetroot. Yeah, I like all my salads and all my vegetables. So, where we've been at 2 hours now, 2 hours. So I'm going to call it an end of a day, 2 hours. It is 5 o'clock now. So I'm going to call it the end of the day. So thanks very much for those people who've joined me and participated in it. Again, anybody got any question, please send me an email, and I'll answer as many questions as I can. So another couple of weeks before we do another live stream. So thanks very much for joining me. Much appreciated. Until the next time, bye for now.